There's an old saying in towns like mine. Never answer the third knock after midnight. Most people laugh it off. Some even knock 3 times on their friends' doors just to spook them. But my grandmother, rest her soul, swore it was more than superstition. That knock ain't asking for permission, she'd whisper when she tucked me in. It's asking for you. When I inherited her house last winter, I didn't think much of it. A creaky Victorian nestled in the woods on the edge of Harrow's End, peeling wallpaper, warped floors, and the distinct ever-present scent of mothballs and lavender oil. The kind of place that breathed when you weren't looking, groaned like it held memories too painful to forget. But the price was right, and frankly, I had nowhere else to go. The first week was uneventful, just the usual sounds of an old house settling, the ticking of the antique clock in the hall, the occasional pop of the radiator, the distant flutter of wings in the attic I hadn't dared explore. I spent my nights curled up on the couch, sipping whiskey, half watching old movies with the sound low, the screen dim. And then, on the 7th night, just after midnight, I heard it. Knock. A slow, hollow sound. Soft enough that I wasn't even sure I'd heard it right. I paused the movie, held my breath. Nothing. I chuckled. My imagination was always a bit theatrical. Knock. This time louder, distinct. The kind of knock that comes with the cold air behind it. I stood and walked to the front door, hesitant. The porch light flickered as I flipped it on. Nothing but darkness beyond the warped glass. I pressed my ear to the door. Silence. I exhaled. My shoulders relaxed. Probably a tree branch or knock. The third one was wrong. Offbeat. Deliberate. It wasn't a request. It was a demand. Something about it chilled me deeper than the draft sneaking through the door frame. I didn't open it. I didn't even peek. Instead, I stepped back, turned off the porch light, and sat back down on the couch with my heart thumping like a warning drum in my chest. It didn't happen again that night, but every night after that, just after midnight, the knocking returned. 3 knocks, always 3, always spaced just so, slow, patient, hungry. I stopped checking, stopped answering. The clock would chime midnight, and I would freeze, count along with the knocks like a condemned man with a firing squad. 3, never more, never less. I told myself it was some local prankster, some bored kid who knew the legend. But deep down, I knew better. The knocks didn't echo like wood on wood. They didn't come from the porch, not really. They came from behind the door, from within the walls, from beneath the floorboards. 2 weeks in, I moved my bed into the living room. I didn't want to walk past the door to reach the stairs. I started sleeping with a bat beside me, then a knife, then a hammer, but none of them made me feel safe. On the 15th night, the knocks changed. Knock, knock, pause, knock. Then a voice, soft, feminine, familiar. Open the door, sweetheart. It's me. It was my grandmother's voice. Every hair on my body rose. I sat up, clutching the hammer like a cross against evil. Grams, I whispered, even though I knew she'd been buried 6 months. Please, the voice cooed. It's cold out here. You wouldn't leave your poor granny in the dark, would you? I didn't respond. I couldn't. My mouth had gone dry, tongue heavy as stone. The voice giggled, not her giggle, something pretending, like a recording played too slow. The sound of something that had never laughed before trying it on for size. Wrong house, I managed to croak. Then silence. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I tore out the doorbell and boarded up the front door from the inside. I bolted every window. I smeared salt along the sills like my grandmother used to. I chanted whatever fragments of prayers I could remember from childhood and considered lighting the house on fire. That night, the knocks didn't come from the front door. They came from the walls. 3 distinct raps, behind the wallpaper in the kitchen, then again, behind the bathroom mirror, then again, beneath the floorboards under my bed. I ran outside, drove until the sun came up, slept in my car at the truck stop 3 towns over. I called a priest, I called a psychic, I called a damn exorcist with Yelp reviews. They all said the same thing. Something is trying to be invited in, something that knows you, or thinks it knows you. I tried staying at motels, friends' houses, but the knocks followed me, always 3, always after midnight. Once in a hotel room, the knocking came from inside the closet, and when I opened it, every coat hanger was swaying like they'd just been touched. It became clear. It wasn't the house. It was me. Something had marked me, and it wouldn't stop until I answered. I began to wonder if maybe I'd already answered it once. A dream I didn't remember. A whispered yes in my sleep. A window left cracked just wide enough. The line between awake and dreaming began to blur. I started hearing my name in voices I trusted. My mother, my brother, an old lover long gone. Each one pleading, let me in. But I never did. And then came the 31st night. No knocks, no voices, just quiet. I should have felt relief. Instead, I felt dread. When I finally fell asleep, it was with the weight of 1,000 nights behind my eyes. And I dreamed of a house, not mine but familiar. A hallway lined with doors. At the end, a figure, tall, thin, with no face, just a mouth, too wide, too many teeth. It raised a hand and knocked. Once, twice, pause, thrice. I woke up to silence. The clock read 3:33. The front door was wide open, and muddy footprints led from the threshold to the foot of my bed. I didn't hear anything, no breathing, no whispering, but I could feel it watching, waiting. Because the rule was never about hearing the knock. It was about answering it, and somewhere, in dream or waking, I must have answered. I don't live in the house anymore. I don't sleep much at all, because every time I close my eyes, I hear it again. Knock, knock, pause, knock. And no matter where I run, it always finds me, because once you answer, you belong to it, and it only ever knocks in 3s.